The journey toward new steel bike frames begins with these old, rusty bicycles.
Each old bicycle is carefully collected before the recycling process begins.
The collected bicycles are now transported to the recycling facility for their next stage.
Inside the plant, the old bicycles enter the first stage of the recycling process.
Each bicycle is inspected to identify the materials can be recovered and recycled. Before processing begins, the entire batch is weighed and officially recorded. Every batch receives a unique identification record before entering the recycling line. Next, the old bicycles are carefully transferred onto the main recycling conveyor.
The recycling line now begins moving the old bicycles toward their first mechanical separation stage.
Non-metals are removed first, leaving the valuable steel ready for further processing. Remaining attachments are removed so the steel frame can move deeper into the recycling process. Once the unwanted parts are removed, the remaining bicycle material is prepared for efficient steel separation. Magnetic separation helps recover ferrous steel from the dismantled bicycle material. The recovered steel is collected separately, ready for the next stage of preparation. The recovered bicycle steel is now prepared for size reduction before further recycling. The bulky bicycle steel is mechanically reduced into smaller pieces for efficient processing. The shredded steel is inspected before entering another stage of material separation. After final separation, the recovered steel is ready for the next stage of its transformation into new bike frames. The recovered steel now moves to the next stage, where it will be prepared for melting and refinement. Here, the recovered bicycle steel is prepared for the high-temp recycling stage.
Keep it coming!
The recovered steel is now ready to enter the furnace and begin its transformation. Inside the furnace, the recovered bicycle steel begins its transformation into molten metal. Under extreme heat, the old bicycle steel becomes a molten pool ready for refinement. Refining removes unwanted impurities and prepares the molten steel for the next stage. Precise temperature control ensures the recycled steel is ready for controlled casting. The refined, molten steel is transferred carefully for further treatment and preparation. In secondary refining, the recycled steel is carefully adjusted for consistent quality and strength. Throughout refining, temperature and composition are continuously monitored for reliable recycled steel.
The refined, recycled steel is continuously cast into solid forms for the next stage of production.
The continuous steel strand is cut into uniform billets that can be shaped into new steel products. The hot steel billets are cooled under controlled conditions before further shaping begins. The cleaned billets are reheated to the precise temperature needed for shaping recycled steel. Powerful rolling stands gradually shape the hot recycled steel into long, uniform sections. Precision rolling gives the recycled steel the consistent dimensions needed for further manufacturing. Controlled cooling stabilizes the recycled steel before its final dimensions are formed. Precision rollers straighten the recycled steel and prepare it for accurate cutting. Accurate cutting creates uniform steel sections, ready to become components of new bike frames. These accurately cut steel sections are checked before being formed into bike frame tubing. Controlled forming gradually turns the recycled steel into precise tubing for new bike frames. The formed tubing is carefully finished to create a smooth, consistent surface. Every tube is measured carefully to ensure the dimensions meet frame building requirements. The tubing is cut into precise lengths. These are used for the different structural parts of new steel bike frames. Precision bending gives each steel tube the shape required for a strong bicycle frame.
After bending, each tube is checked and organized before the frame assembly begins.
The shaped tubes are now carefully aligned in a fixture to form the basic structure of a new steel bike frame. Precise tack welding holds the recycled steel tubes together in the shape of a new bike frame. Full welding permanently joins the recycled steel tubes into a strong bicycle frame structure. The newly welded frame is released from the fixture and prepared for its first structural inspection. Every welded joint is inspected before the recycled steel frame moves to finishing. After inspection, the frame is cleaned and prepared for its final surface treatment. This frame is now ready for finishing. The welded areas are carefully smoothed, giving the recycled steel frame a clean and consistent surface.
Precise alignment ensures the recycled steel frame has the geometry required for a reliable bicycle. Once alignment is confirmed, the frame is carefully prepared for protective coating.
Before coating, the frame is thoroughly cleaned so the protective finish can bond evenly. A protective surface treatment helps prepare the recycled steel frame for a durable final finish. After treatment, controlled drying prepares the steel frame for its durable final coating. A uniform powder coating now gives the recycled steel frame its protective outer finish. Inside the curing oven, controlled heat bonds the coating into a durable protective finish. After curing, the finished frame is cooled under controlled conditions before final inspection.
The finished coating is inspected carefully before the frame moves to final bicycle assembly.
After coating, the finished frame receives one final structural and dimensional check before assembly. The finished recycled steel frame now enters the final assembly line, where it becomes a complete bicycle.
The front fork is precisely fitted to the recycled steel frame, creating the foundation for the bike's steering system.
With the wheels aligned and secured, the recycled steel frame is ready for its drivetrain components. The drivetrain is fitted and checked, so the recycled steel bicycle can transfer power smoothly to its wheels. The handlebar and steering controls are aligned precisely with the front wheel. The braking system is installed and carefully adjusted for controlled stopping performance. Each brake system is tested to confirm smooth and reliable operation before the bicycle moves forward. The saddle and finishing components are fitted, bringing the recycled steel bicycle close to completion. The completed bicycle now undergoes a final assembly inspection before functional testing. Controlled testing verifies that the finished bicycle performs before final quality approval. After functional testing, the recycled steel frame receives one final structural and surface inspection. After assembly and testing, the finished bicycle is carefully cleaned for its final quality checks. Each completed bicycle is weighed to confirm that it meets the required production specifications.
Precision measurements confirm that the finished recycled steel bicycle matches its required geometry.
Before leaving the production line, every major component is checked for safe and reliable operation. Each finished frame receives a traceable identification before final approval and dispatch preparation. Under controlled lighting, the finished bicycle receives its final visual quality inspection before approval.
Once every inspection is complete, the recycled steel bicycle receives its final quality approval.
After final approval, the completed bicycle moves toward the last finishing, and preparation stage.
Only minor finishing checks remain before the completed recycled steel bicycle moves toward its final presentation stage.
After approval, the finished bicycle is carefully cleaned and prepared for its final documentation. Production records now document the finished bicycle and trace its recycled steel frame through the manufacturing process. After documentation, the completed bicycles are carefully secured and prepared for finished goods storage. The completed bicycles now leave the production line and enter the finished goods storage area. Inside the warehouse, the completed bicycles are organized and prepared for their final dispatch journey. Each finished bicycle is organized by batch.
Before dispatch, every finished bicycle is counted, scanned, and matched with its production record.
Batch 42.
Confirmed. Once inventory is confirmed, the approved bicycles are prepared for safe transportation to their next destination. Protective materials are added around the finished bicycle to prevent damage during transportation.
The protected bicycle is sealed inside a reinforced package, ready for identification and shipment. Shipping labels and traceability information are added before the finished bicycle packages enter the dispatch line. Sealed bicycle packages are carefully arranged on pallets to create stable loads for transportation. Once arranged, the bicycle packages are secured tightly on pallets for safe handling and transport. The secured pallets are transported to the dispatch area, ready for their journey beyond the factory. With the shipment verified, the finished bicycles wait in the dispatch zone for their journey to the next destination. The finished bicycles are carefully loaded into a transport vehicle, beginning the final stage of their journey.
With every package secured inside the truck, the recycled steel bicycles are ready to leave the factory.